About 190 times, a referee at the Soccer World Cup has reached into his pocket and held up a red card. A red card carries an automatic ban. You sit out the next match. No appeal, no exceptions. That's the whole point of the word automatic. In 90 years, exactly one player ever escaped that ban. Brazil, 1962, after a little quiet political pressure. This week, it happened for the second time. And the strange part isn't that a rule bent. It's why it could. Because this was never really a story about soccer. Round of 32. The United States are playing Bosnia and Herzegovina. Their striker, Folarin Balogun, 3 goals already this tournament, scores the opener. Minutes later, a challenge. His studs catch a Bosnian defender, Tarik Muharemovic. Red card. Under FIFA's rules, that's an automatic one-match ban. Balogun will miss the next game, the round of 16 against Belgium. Then the phone rings. Over the following days, the President of the United States calls the President of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, by one account 3 times, asking him to review the card. A White House task force director speaks to Infantino. So does the Commerce Secretary. A U.S. official later says the government supplied additional evidence that FIFA's committee used. On July 5th, FIFA's disciplinary committee suspends the ban. Not overturns, suspends, the red card stands, but the one-match penalty is put on hold for a year's probation. The statement gives no reason. It is the first time since automatic bans existed that a World Cup suspension was paused instead of served. Belgium, the team that now has to face Balogun, files a challenge. FIFA doesn't rule on whether it's right. It rules that Belgium has no standing to appeal. European soccer's governing body says FIFA crossed a red line. Balogun plays. The United States lose 4-1 and go home. Here's the reflex. Argue about the phone call. Should a president lobby a referee's tribunal? Should FIFA have picked up? But powerful people lean on referees and courts and committees constantly. That pressure is a constant. It's gravity. It's always there. So the interesting question isn't whether someone pushed. It's why the push worked. This once out of 190 cards. What's supposed to stop a phone call from changing a verdict? Every serious system has something built for exactly that job. Walls, locks, doors that only open from one side. So look at this one and ask, where were they? Start with the rule itself. An automatic ban exists to remove discretion. If the penalty is automatic, there's no judgment to lobby. The card decides, not a person. That's the wall. But FIFA's disciplinary code has a back door. Article 27. A ban can be suspended, put on probation instead of served. Discretion walks back in, and the moment there's discretion, there's something to lobby. Fine. So who exercises it? The FIFA Disciplinary Committee. And here's the load-bearing question. Who appoints that committee and who can remove them? The same FIFA leadership that took the call. In a real court, the judge doesn't work for one of the parties. Here, the person deciding and the person answering the phone sit on the same org chart, one reporting to the other. That's the first missing wall. The second, the ruling came with no reason. Article 27 was invoked. The statement explained nothing. A decision whose reasoning you can't see is a decision you can't argue with on the merits. You can only accept it or shout. In the third wall, the one that matters most. Who is actually harmed? Belgium. The opponent now facing a striker who, by the rule, should have been on the bench. Belgium had every reason to contest this and every competence to do it. So they tried, and FIFA never answered whether they were right. It answered that they weren't allowed to ask. No standing. The one party with the motive to appeal was locked out of the room, and the outside court that exists precisely for appeals, the Court of Arbitration for Sport, only hears you if you're let through the door. Add it up. The body that decides is appointed by the body being lobbied. The decision comes with no reasons. The person harmed cannot appeal. This isn't a court that resisted pressure and unfortunately caved. It's a structure with nothing in it built to resist pressure at all. The day after, FIFA's president said it plainly. Our judicial bodies are independent. But a judge who can be reassigned by one of the litigants isn't a judge. He's an employee with a gavel. So how do you build the walls FIFA left out? 3 institutions did it 3 different ways, and each pays a price. The first, move the final word outside the house. That's what the Court of Arbitration for Sport in Lausanne is for, an independent tribunal that overturns and upholds decisions the sports bodies don't control. Put the last decision there, beyond the reach of any single president's phone. The trade-off is real, though. It's slow, expensive, and lawyerly, and it's useless without the third wall. If the harmed party can't get through the door, an external court is a display case, not a check. The second answer comes from an unlikely place: central banks. Why can a central banker ignore a furious finance minister demanding lower rates? Not because he's braver, because of structure, fixed terms, removal only for cause, appointment insulated from whoever holds power this year, build a disciplinary body that way, and the phone call reaches someone who genuinely cannot be leaned on because the person leaning can't touch their job. The trade-off: independence can curdle into unaccountability. A tribunal that answers to no one is its own hazard. You've traded a body that bends too easily for one you can't correct when it's simply wrong. The third is the smallest change and maybe the sharpest. The whole thing died on 3 words: no standing. So rewrite them. Let any materially affected competitor appeal. Give Belgium a key to the room. The trade-off: every close call becomes a case. In a tournament with days between matches, a system where the other team can appeal, every red card might not reach a verdict before the next kickoff. Contestability and speed pull in opposite directions, and someone has to choose. Notice what none of these depends on: better people. Maybe the committee was beyond reproach. Maybe the call was entirely within the rules. Maybe the new evidence was real. The point of a system is that it shouldn't need everyone to behave. Chile doesn't ask builders to be honest. It makes them liable. A central bank doesn't ask politicians to be patient. It puts the lever out of reach. The design does the work so that character doesn't have to. Back to that number. About 190 red cards, and now 2 that vanished. Both, it turns out, after someone powerful made a call. 64 years apart, the same result for the same reason. A rule is only ever as strong as the independence of whoever enforces it. And here's the part that outlives this World Cup. Every institution you rely on has a version of Article 27, a backdoor of discretion, and a version of that org chart where the judge reports to someone who can be lobbied: courts, regulators, review boards, referees. So the question was never whether the president should have called. It's the one you can ask of any institution that has power over you. If someone with enough leverage picks up the phone, what exactly is built to stop it? Because if the honest answer is nothing, then it was never a rule. It was a favor waiting to be asked.